Yo, what up guys? Welcome back to another Teddy Nation video, and in today's video we are going to go over the pros and cons of Classic WoW versus Retail WoW and which one you should play if you're a new player or returning player to World of Warcraft. If you like daily World of Warcraft content, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button, help me get to 1,000 subs here on YouTube, and check out my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Tedmore1. Guys, let's get into it. All right, starting with Classic. When you log into Classic, the Classic servers are still populated, still have a thriving community that loves playing this game. As you can see here in Stormwind, we still have a lot of people logged in every single day. On a Thursday morning at 9 a.m., we still have a ton of people logged in. The guild that I'm in currently has about 10 to 15 people online. During peak hours, this guild gets upwards of 50 to 100 people online. So the community is thriving. It is the Classic game is all based around the community. The feel of having the Classic MMO, the login to be a part of something, is what Classic is about. The leveling aspect of Classic, it feels like an adventure. It may take you 2 months to get to max level. It may take you 3 months to get to max level, but you went on a completely different adventure than anybody else in the game. Each time you get an upgrade, that item matters. You'll get an upgrade when you're leveling that will last with you for 20, maybe 30 levels sometimes, depending on how powerful of an item that is. When you're out in the world and you're doing quests in different zones, sometimes there's the elite quest, and the world just feels more dangerous than it does in other versions of the game. It can come down to being just the mob density or the elite mob that roams the zone. Leveling professions in Classic, it's OG, right? There's nothing really to say about the profession aspect outside of the fact that if you don't have professions, you just won't be able to afford half of what you can need or want in this game. Most people will level professions that will give their character buffs and things, so they don't have to pay for it every time they go into a raid. Or they'll make it just to be a crafter and be able to sell the crafted items for gold so they can buy anything they need for in-game content. There are other aspects of Classic, the hardcore version, trying not to die, the role-playing aspect, getting engulfed in the story of your character. It is thriving so well on Classic. The downfalls to Classic, though, are the progression. It's gonna take you a lot longer than it is in any other version. There are some classes that are just very difficult to play or just not invited to most situations, such as Boomkins or Shadow Priest, which are some of my favorite classes, and I'm trying to prove that it can happen. So follow some of the other videos. There is less in-game content than other versions of the game. You have the set raids that have been out for 20 years that everybody knows how to do at this point. But if you've never experienced it, it's still worth to do those raids. You will have more downtime than any other version of the game, be it with traveling, running on your ground mount because there is no flying in Classic, taking mana breaks in between pulls, and a lot of the times it can be a full commitment to get into some of these raids. You have to be a part of a Discord community, stay in a major city so that you can look at trade chat for the random groups that are filling during the peak hours. And as a whole, if you can find that community that you can get into these raids and be in this in-game content, Classic feels like what World of Warcraft should maintain. Now let's take a look at retail. Retail is the main source of World of Warcraft, what Blizzard is trying to do with the game. This version of the game is fast-paced. You can fly around on a mount. They've added dragon flying recently in the past couple of years, where you can fly even faster than you used to be able to. There's constant seasons, so there's new raids coming out every 3 to 4 months. There's new dungeons that you have to do with Mythic Plus. There's multiple different ways to grind out gear, get to the best of your ability when it comes to the gear aspect of everything. But it doesn't need you to have a group. There's a group finder. There's like, you don't need to be a part of a community. You can play this version of the game completely solo, 2 to 3 hours a night, maybe even 1 hour a night, and still get to the end goal of what you're trying to achieve within the game. There is some pros to this version of the game, that every class has a viable spec. So be it Shadow Priest and Boomkin like Classic, they're kind of weak in Classic, but in Retail, they're utilized very well. And even if they have an off season, the next season they'll get reworked or they'll get a buff, and they'll be back into the meta scene every so often. Blizzard does do a very good job on cycling the classes so that you can play a specific class and enjoy it. There's a ton of content to do. You can go back and do old content, farm it for transmog, make your character look fantastic. You can farm old content for mounts, achievements, any other collectibles. They do have a housing system now, so you can build a house very similar to like Sims and things like that. They do have updated graphics, which is an arguable aspect, because a lot of people that play the game do like the original style of animation that World of Warcraft has given us. The problem with Retail is that because it's been going on for 20 years, a lot of the times new players and returning players, this can feel overwhelming to catch up on the lore, the storyline, or even catch back up with how the mechanics of your class works, because they rework it every so often. Some seasons your character can play completely different than they did previously. For new players, returning players, this version of the game is difficult to find a solid community that will last. You may find a raid group that will last one season, but once you beat the raid, you've gotten the gear, most of the time people typically fall off and will come back once the new season starts. So it is hard to find a community that is thriving every single night of every single day within Retail. Most of the time as well, when you find those communities, everybody is rushing to get to that end game to try to make it seem that it is achievable fast and get that sense of pure enjoyment as fast as possible. But it can leave a lot of these new players in a slump and kind of feel left out or left behind. And that is one of the biggest issues with Retail, is it's insanely fast paced, and a lot of the community does not want that. Alright guys, in conclusion, Classic is a nostalgic community-based game that you can kind of engulf yourself in the world of Azeroth. Retail is rushed to in-game to do in-game content, constantly get updates with raids, and do more in-game content. If you're new to the game or returning, I highly recommend you choose Classic WoW. Classic WoW is going to give you that community aspect that you're probably looking for in an MMO. Most MMOs, that's what makes them thrive. So I would highly recommend join us on Classic on the Westfall servers. You can add any of my characters in game. Hit me up in game anytime you want, and I'll catch you out there in the world of Azeroth, guys. Peace.